Welcome to Small Business Big Dreams, where every episode is a new journey into the world of entrepreneurs who are daring to dream big. In this corner of the internet, we're going to celebrate the innovation and the perseverance it takes to turn small ventures into booming successes. These small businesses aren't just places to shop, they're actually hubs of creativity and passion, each with its own amazing story. From the mom and pop shops to the innovative startups, we're going to explore it all. You'll meet the faces behind the brands, hear their stories, and maybe even get inspired to start your own venture. Whether you're a longtime local or new in town, come along with me for the ride and let's celebrate the backbone of our communities one small business at a time. Now let's dream big and spread some love for our local heroes. All right, well, welcome back to another episode of Small Business Big Dreams. As always, I am your host, Eric Bohl, and today, I know we already talked about getting your dog walked, but today we're going to talk about getting your dog trained. And I have Karina of Wiggle and Woof Dog Academy. Say that 10 times fast. I could barely get it out. But welcome. Glad to have you today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So give us the elevator pitch of Wiggle and Woof.
So essentially, I offer in-home privates where I come to your house and train your dog with you. I deal with basic obedience, advanced obedience, therapy dogs, and reactive and aggressive dogs, and as well as puppies.
Oh, puppies. You had me at puppies right there. That was the one. Puppy. So I guess that was a lot. Is there anything you don't deal with? That sounded like an easier question.
It's more like I don't do the sport work, so I don't do
like that crazy
rally,
tunneled running
agility. Well, my dog actually does agility. We compete in agility. I just don't teach agility. I just don't have the space for it.
Cool. And then if I picked up you come to people's houses and train them there in their environment, which I think would make more sense too. Like train the dog where they're going to be, right? Is there like a thing to that?
A lot of the times it's a lot easier for me to come to people's houses just because most of the problems are at the house. So it's
User error.
So it's a lot easier for me to come to the house, kind of show them what to do at home, because then they stay at home and they take it home instead of kind of meeting somewhere, and it doesn't apply to the house, especially with like reactive aggressive dogs. It's a lot easier to kind of walk in your neighborhood, deal with it in your neighborhood than going somewhere else and then not being able to apply it to your house.
Yeah. All right, Karina. So why should we work with you? What's your background?
So I graduated from U of I last year in 2023 with a major in animal science. I was originally supposed to go to vet school.
Okay.
But I've been a dog trainer for about 7 years now, and decided to open up my own business with it. But essentially, I mean, every trainer has their own style and they offer different services. For my service, I kind of offer anything and everything. I don't say no to any dog just because it has a behavioral issue. I deal with a lot of reactive and aggressive dogs, which a lot of other people won't. And I also come to your house. A lot of people won't go to your house.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it makes it super convenient for you and easier for you and your dog, and you kind of get whatever you paid for.
I like that. Yeah, that's and that the amount of education to go through for a vet is like so my sister-in-law, she was going to be a vet. She's currently a vet. She's the equivalent of a nurse practitioner, but in the veterinarian world.
Vet tech.
Yeah, she just graduated from Purdue with it. Anyway, like the amount of education, it was like, it's more than a doctor. And I get it. Like there's like 100 different animals and all these different species, but it is crazy the amount of schooling you guys got to go through.
Yeah, we got to do, so 4 years of bachelor, another 4 to 6 of vet school, and about $500,000 in debt. It's extremely expensive. It's extremely competitive.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is more out of my curiosity. If you would have gone the full vet route, were you going to like do like cats and dogs, or were you going to go like large animal, like farm stuff?
I probably would have gone to like companion animal with a, like, I guess you could call it minor with equines. So I also ride horses.
Oh, okay.
So I would have kind of seen what's there. But right now it's super competitive.
That's crazy.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hours. And I've always wanted to be my own boss because I've worked for so many people over the years that I'm like, you know what? I'm starting my business. I want to do it how I want to do it. school is not for me. I am not good at school at all.
I'm with that vibe. That's where I'm at. Yes.
I was so happy to be done with college. Like, it was just not for me. I wanted to go straight into work, start my business.
Make some money.
Yeah. So I was like, vet school, we'll put that to the side. But I was mostly interested in dog training.
And then we were kind of talking earlier before we started recording. You've always been kind of doing stuff with pets, like, for a long time, right?
Yeah. So I actually got into dog training as a joke. It was
what, like you lost a bet or something?
No. It was more of like I was joking about being a dog trainer. So what happened was at my barn there was this girl with a mom that every week she brought in a new puppy. I'm like, where the heck are you getting all these puppies from? So I went up to her. I'm like, what do you do? Like, what do you have like 10,000 puppies in your house? She's like, oh, I'm a dog trainer. I already had a job, but I jokingly said, I'm like, oh, do you need someone else to work for you? And she was like, yeah, actually. And I'm like, wait, really? So I started working for her and like kind of learning the dog training world and the dog world. Quit my other job, did this instead, and then it kind of took off, and I've been a dog trainer ever since.
God, look at that, almost serendipitous, you're joking about it, and now it's steered the rest of your, career. So I want to take a half step back. You were talking about, so you go to people's houses to do this, right? So I'm assuming then you have like a very particular service area because you can't go anywhere or everywhere, right? So what does that look like? So
I try to stay in like the northwest suburbs. Kind of the most north I'll go will be like Mundelein, Libertyville, Vernon Hills, that kind of area.
Cool.
I'll go as south as Bloomingdale. So
that's
I live
a big reach.
It is a big reach, but I do go back and forth a lot. I mean, my barn is up in Hawthorne Woods, so I go to the barn a lot. I'm up there a lot. My family lives in Vernon Hills, so I'm up here a lot. So it's annoying sometimes, especially during traffic, but other than that, like, I make it work. I try to schedule clients like in the same area on the same day, so I don't have to go back and forth. I could kind of just stay up here for a couple hours, and then if I have to go south, I'll go back south. So I try to figure that out with my schedule and make it a little bit easier on myself.
I'm curious. Talk to me, like, how does like a training package work? Like, is there a certain amount of times like you're going to work with me? Is there like a first time evaluation, or how do you build that out? So usually if someone inquires about dog training, we'll do a phone consultation just to see where the dog's at, what the owner wants to work on. And then I do have like evaluation prices. So all of my lessons are an hour long. So I have an initial consultation that's an hour, and then I also have like a reactive aggressive consultation that's an hour to see, okay, how much time do we need to spend on this dog? Or if maybe we just need to do like every other week, every once in a while. I do like to start with once a week with training for about a month to just kind of get the dogs going, the owner's on the same page. Just so the dog doesn't veer off and then we have another bad habit we got to fix. So I try to do at least, if it's something long-term, once a week for about a month, and then maybe bi-weekly lessons if needed. Obviously, each dog is different, so if I need to do more, I'll do more. If I need to do less, I'll do less. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, obviously every dog is going to be different. So, okay, all right, I'll bite on that. No pun intended. I'm curious, are there certain dogs that are easier to train? Is that like actually a thing? Like, 100%. Yeah. If you have a dog that has the drive to work and is super food motivated, you can get that dog to do anything. Yeah. So is it different by breed? Like, is there like, or a generality to breeds? I mean, obviously, like, there's your working breed, your kind of more lazier breeds. What's considered a lazy breed? Like a bloodhound? Like, I picture like a bloodhound. Hounds are extremely like work motivated. They're working dogs. They're hunting dogs. Any hound, pretty much, they love to work. They need a job. But I would say like, I don't know. I know a lot of English labs that are more on the lazier side. I mean, compared to, they don't have that much drive, but like if you talk about shepherds, like Australian shepherds, German shepherds, border collies, Malinois, Dobermans, they're all working breeds. They have the drive, they have the work for it. You could get them to do anything. But yeah, each dog is different. For me, the hardest
dogs are the ones that don't really want to work, super stubborn and don't want to listen and aren't exactly food motivated.
Interesting.
Those are kind of the hardest ones for me because I really have to change my program for them and kind of have a different approach for them. But yeah, it's...
So if they're not food motivated, what's the... Yeah, obviously it's kind of like a carrot and stick method, right? Like, so are you more stick then with that, or is there like a different carrot that's not literally carrot?
So, I mean, dogs can be driven by like people. Like if you get excited, they get excited. So if you're excited, they want to work for that. Toy motivation helps a lot. Food motivation, another dog motivates them. I'll use my dogs as a motivation because it's competition for the dogs. So if they're not
alpha
as
male kind of thing,
so if they're not as food motivated, I'll be like, okay, I'll give my dog food, and then the other dog's like, whoa, I want food now. Can I have the food? I'll work now. So there's so many different approaches you can have. For me, it's figuring out what's going to work best for this dog because, I mean, I have a specific training style, but if I need to change it for a dog and just make it a little bit more easier for the owner and the dog, I will. Like, I have no problem doing that. And that's kind of what I do in my services is it's not a step-by-step plan has to be exact for each dog. I do have to alter it with each dog that I meet.
Very cool. Yeah, I want a dog. I want like 5 dogs.
I'll train it. I'll train them all.
My wife won't let me have a dog until we have we're in a very small property. It's like, so she's like, you can like, once we get the next house and we have I want like a barnuminium and like, that's like my man cave. And she's like, you can have all the dogs you want and they stay there. I'm like, fine, done. Deal. I want that in writing. And I actually like my dream dog is a Bernese. I want a Bernese.
My friend has a Bernese. He's
so beautiful.
Wonderful.
They're just amazing dogs. And so skilled. What's your favorite dog?
Well, I'm biased. I mean, I have an Australian Shepherd.
They're amazing, though.
I love my girl. She is the best dog in the world. I also have a German Shepherd. Kind of fallen in love with that breed as well. But the Aussie, you can't go wrong. When you know what you're doing with an Aussie, I don't recommend them for everyone. But when you know what you're doing with them, they're the best dogs ever.
But they need a lot of attention, right?
Yeah. I mean, when I first got my dog, I got her at 8 weeks, started training. Right off the bat, the day after I got her, we started training. I probably spent an hour or 2 every day for a year training her.
Wow. Do you do, and again, so I don't know terminology here, so forgive me. Like kind of more that like militaristic training level where like you see some of these like the German Shepherds and stuff, they're like super like glued to like
Schutzhund. So Schutzhund is another kind of sport category in the dog world.
Schutzhund?
Schutzhund. It's SCH.
I'm literally Googling this right now.
Something.
So what is this? It's a style of training?
Yeah. So this kind of style of training is a lot more, I guess you could say, like hardcore. They're a lot more strict. There's a lot more of a routine. Very different
Protection
kind of
dog.
Very different approach. I don't do that. I've always loved and been interested in kind of working in that kind of stuff because it's super, super cool. I just don't have the education for it, so I'm not going to offer it. But
I appreciate you not doing that. Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah. We'll wing it. Yeah, no.
I don't need anyone getting bit.
Yeah, Schutzen. It's a German word meaning protection dog. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, my next door neighbor has it. His son was in the military and he had a military dog, but his military role changed. So they couldn't take the dog with, so his parents now have the dog. Oh, fun. Nicest, oh my God, sweetest dog, but then you can immediately get into like...
they can switch in 2 seconds.
It's a snap of a finger. It's incredible.
Yes, they're very in tune.
Yeah. Anyway, see, I told you I'd derail us. I told you it would happen. But, okay, so you started your business. Wait, when did you start your business? Yeah. So
I started in March of this year.
Fully on your own, March.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So fairly new.
So you're a new kid on the block.
Yes.
All right. I mean, you're probably still learning a lot of things, but what was something that you've surprised you and caught you off guard starting your own business?
I wouldn't say anything like completely caught me off guard. I would
Good.
say I didn't realize how long it would take for me to get insurance. Like
Dude,
it took
it's
me
crazy.
4 months to get insurance because I need very specific insurance. I need professional liability and general liability. And you can get that for different services, but for what I offered, like I needed professional because professional protects me, what I say, what I do. In case anything is taken out of context, like I need to be protected. But a lot of insurance companies did not want to take me, did not want to.
It's unreal.
Yeah. So it was super difficult for me to find one. Finally found a broker who finally found me
one.
insurance because I had everything else ready to go. I was just waiting for insurance and I did not want to start. God forbid my first client wants to sue me. Like I needed to be protected. So I waited probably 2 or 3 months after I wanted to get started and actually finally started in March.
Yeah. So I should have connected with you sooner. I would have connected you with our business insurance agent we had on this call. They would have, on this podcast, that would have
been so helpful.
She would have totally helped you out. And if not, she would know the right people. She's incredible. She's worked with me on my business stuff. Actually, one of the hardest insurance things was the 1-day event I did for the Jeep Club we were talking about earlier. And like we did this whole off-roading thing and nobody wanted to insure it. They're like, Jeeps, they're off-roading and there are people watching. Dude, like she had to find like this like one random one-off company to do it. She was my hero and it came in at like the 12th hour.
Oh,
it was like I was borderline about to cancel the event.
I did not realize how difficult it would be to find insurance.
And that's a newer problem. Like insurance is really tightened up.
It's a huge liability. And I understand from their point of view, they don't want to have as much to pay for and liability and stuff like that. But I'm like, I'm trying to start my business here. Like, I just want to get this up and rolling. But it all worked out.
Was it like the concern of it being like a live animal, like the dog could do something?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, especially with the fact that I work with reactive and aggressive dogs, because obviously I have to propose what I'm offering. So especially with that kind of stuff, like there's a lot of kind of like issues with that. Because obviously if the dog gets loose and bites someone under my watch, I'm most likely going to be blamed for it. Or if I say like, oh, try this, and they tried the complete opposite and it backfired on them, they're going to blame me. I'm their trainer. So, I mean, there is a lot of things. Luckily, I've had no issues with that. Like no one,
we're knocking on wood over here.
No one has ever had a problem with anything I've said or done. But I'm also very careful with what I say. I try to be very direct and clear and upfront. Like that is my number one thing that I've always tried to stay with my services is I will be upfront with you. I'm not going to kind of sugarcoat it and be like, oh yeah, try it out, see how it goes.
Well, maybe not.
I'll be like, you could try it, but there's a possibility of this, and this happening. So that is on you. Like,
talk about passing the buck. But yeah, you got to protect it. And plus the way you could even say and do. Tell them exactly what to say and do, but even then it's still not going to be exactly the same way you're going to do it. 'Cause 1, you're obviously experienced, and 2, they're trying to figure it out.
And they're also animals. Like their dogs every dog is unpredictable at some point. Like a dog is a dog. It's got a mind of its own. If it wants to go do something and it's targeted on something, it's going to go and do that. But that's where the training comes in, kind of being able to get them to come back to you a little bit more and just have a little bit of a better relationship.
All right, so I have to ask, where does the name come from?
My gosh. So
Wiggle and Woof.
I started looking for names in college last 2 years ago, I guess, now in college, trying to figure out a name because I'm like, I need a name before I start doing anything. And I was actually talking to one of my friends, hanging out with her and her kids, and going back and forth on names, and she actually brought up the idea. She's like, but what about Wiggle and Woof? Because I have an Aussie, call her Wiggle Butt.
Okay.
So because her butt just shakes all the time. Every Aussie owner knows what I'm talking about. So I wanted something to kind of relate back to that. So Wiggle and Woof. I'm like, okay. So I sat on it for a little bit, asked my friends and family their opinion, and they're like, that's really cute, actually. So kind of have Wiggle and Woof now.
Well, I like too that you can do I love the WW branding you could do. Like I think it's so as everybody who listens to my podcast knows, I always judge companies based on their letter abbreviations. And I actually really like the W and W. I think it's like I don't know why. I'm biased, but you got WW Dog Academy. I like the WW. It works. Oh, look at that. The business card, the W and W. I see it looks so good.
Yeah, I actually had a lot of creativity with that so I did everything on my own. My website, my logo, my cards. So the WW came in really nicely with the way I can kind of overlap it. But yeah, I love the WW. It made it a little bit easier to kind of create some
Well, and as you blow up, this WW branding can be huge. That's so good. That's so good. Props to you on that one.
Thank you.
But yes, I'm a very judgmental person when it comes to the letters of choices. Like, it's so bad. I don't know where it comes from or why I do it. And it's just like, I care more about not even what your company's name is, the abbreviation.
Well, that's what people focus on too, is just 100%. Like if you can't remember it or it looks kind of sloppy and not slick and neat, like no one's going to really pay attention to it.
Yeah. And I think I think branding is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And, so when you think about like something like, I'm not a marketer, but it's like something like you need like 9 or 10 different versions of your logo, because you need like a round one, a web one, one for like a polo shirt, and one for a hat, all these different styles of your logo. And if it just doesn't work well across the realm, it just...
Yeah, thankfully, the one that I have for my logo actually works out really well. Obviously, it's a little bit difficult with like shirts and stuff, figuring out the color, because my logo is mostly black. Or at least my dog of my logo is black, so I have to do something like white or gray.
You're talking about this part?
Yeah, so my dog is the face of the logo, essentially.
Okay.
But I love my logo. I had my friend create it for me, and we worked on it together, but it's my favorite.
Love it. There's so much detail in that, too. Now, I'll post a picture for you guys when the podcast goes live so you can see what we're talking about. Sorry, I know I try to avoid visual conversations, but it happens because it's just cool. I like talking about it. So we got Wiggle and Woof, and you said it sounds like a friend helped you with all your your website, your logo, branding, or you did most of it, right?
I did most of it.
Okay.
My logo I got from a friend. My website, my friend and I started together. She kind of helped me out with it, and then I took over and finished it, which took me a very long time because I'm very indecisive and I'm like a perfectionist. So I'm like, nope, this isn't working. Nope, this isn't working. Finally, I said, you know what? We're just going to stick to it, and I will edit it later if I need to. But I kind of did everything on my own. I have asked for help, but I kind of wanted to challenge myself and be like, okay, let me figure this out on my own. And then kind of it all came together.
I have your website pulled up right now. Oh, you did this layout well. So one of the biggest things I always give a hard time for people is they're coming to your if they're already coming to your website, they're wanting to find out more information, mostly about the services, right? And you got the service tab, but you go right into cost, how to book, where to book, packages, like nailed it. Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to do. So because I looked at a lot of different websites to see what other people and how they kind of laid things out. So I'm like, okay, if it takes me forever to find something, I'm going to exit out.
Exactly.
So I wanted everything kind of on the front page. And then if they wanted to kind of scroll through my website, they could, but just to the point, what my service is, how much it costs, where to book, questions, whatever, all right there, so that they don't have to take 10 years to kind of figure it out. Yeah,
I mean, you got the 4 main categories: your obedience, therapy, puppy training, reactive, aggressive. It's right there. Packages, like this is where I think we were just looking at new data on this. I think it's 2 seconds you have to get somebody, or they'll bounce off your website.
Really?
It's insane.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So like when I go to anybody, so I work with a lot of companies on helping them with stuff like this. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if I can't figure out either one, what you do, or your hours or a phone number within 2 seconds, or like a cost of something, dude, they're gone.
Yeah.
Or if it's not obvious, like click here for pricing, dude, they're done.
Right.
And it's just,
that's a little nerve-wracking now.
You can't do yours any better. Like you've got it. It's right there.
Thank you.
and there's too, like, there's data around, like, you can see your own website of like what the bounce rate's your number one thing you should worry about, is like, because basically that's telling you is somebody came to your website, and if your I think bounce rate's based off of 3 seconds or 4, whatever that time is, it'll tell you. It's based on like if you use like GoDaddy or whatever, or Square, how quickly 98% of people bounce off your website, which means that they left within 2 or 3 seconds.
Right.
That's just customers you're potentially losing because they already knew who you were. They're coming to your website, right? So it's like the worst thing to have, and that's the number to care about. But anyway, we could talk about that all day, but we're not going to, because we're here to talk about you and our WW. And if you guys want to check out the website, we'll probably plug this at the end, though. It's wigglewoofdogacademy.com. We have it pulled up. Is this your dog? The photo?
In the front?
It's on the front page there?
No. If you go to about, she's in there.
Oh, there's with all the leaves?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's really white.
Yeah, she's a red merle Aussie.
Oh, it's like almost like a reddish amber looking color. Hard to tell. Anyway, moving on. All right, let's see. Where do I want to go? Where do you see your business evolving from here? Are there different services you're going to want to offer, different territories? You're going to bring in your goal just to get big enough to maybe bring in another trainer? Like, what does that look like for you?
So my goal eventually is to obviously kind of have a booked schedule. Like, I want people to kind of book up and I'm busy with it. But eventually what I want to do is open up like my own facility, dog training facility, where people come to me then, and then possibly have another trainer that does like classes and privates, and then I still go to their house, because a lot of people like that. It's very convenient for them. They don't have to drive. I come to them. Like, they just have to take an hour of their day instead of 2 or 3 driving. So my goal eventually is to open up my own facility. I don't think I'd ever do like boarding type stuff or a kennel, maybe just like a space where I can do training, classes, and then maybe bring on another trainer. I'm very picky. Like, I mean, I have to fully trust you with my clients and these dogs. If I don't trust you, I'm not going to send you off because you're representing me, essentially. So I'm very picky with stuff like that. I mean, I'm picky with my own dogs. Like, I don't let just anyone kind of take care of my dogs. I'm very, very picky. And I think my clients kind of appreciate that too, because I don't treat a dog just a dog. Like, I understand they're family members. They're part of your world. My girls are 100% part of my world. Like, I take them everywhere with me. I take them to work. I do everything with them. So I completely understand that. So I think clients kind of appreciate that part of me, where I fully understand that they're part of your family and that you want the best for them.
Love that. Yeah, I mean, dogs are our family. Pets are family, not just dogs, but I'm a bias towards dogs. Oh yeah, I guess, are there other animals worth training? Like, I was just thinking about that. Like, they're horse training, but that's
horses,
a whole different beast.
Whole other industry.
Cats, you don't really train.
I mean, there's like cat behaviorists if you have like behavioral modification issues. Yeah. Let me think.
Cats are like all evil. I mean, I don't know. No, I didn't. Yes, I said that. Hot take. Hold it against me. Cats are evil. Plus, I'm deathly allergic.
I am too. So it works out. I don't know. Like, I'll see like these videos of bunnies jumping over stuff.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to totally Google that.
Yeah.
Dude, we have insane amount of bunnies that live under our deck.
I have a bunny at home.
Yeah. You like your own actual pet bunny?
Yeah.
Is there like an exotic pet you would want to have one day? I know, a really random question because we talked about it with the other.
I mean, like, is a chameleon exotic?
Yeah, enough. It's not your staple. It's not
know.
Like, I don't know.
I want to get a chameleon. I mean, I have fish at home as well.
Fish are interesting. I think it's a weird pet.
I like the tank. It's pretty.
Yeah,
it's
like it's a very
nice
visual thing. Yeah, like, and I also like the sound of the running water.
Yes.
But to really call it a pet,
no,
I think it's tough.
I just have fish.
Yeah,
that's all it is. It's just fish.
My old boss had this most incredible fish tank in his office. I mean, the most cliche thing ever. But they were incredible, but it's just like, and it worked for him because he sat in his office and he saw it all the time, right? But it's just like, I don't know, man. It's just a bad fish and a pet. Anyway, again, I'm derailing us. It's my fault. You were worried about it. I'm the one doing it. All right. So I have a new puppy. I'm looking for a new trainer. Why you? Like, what's the differentiator? Other than you're coming to my house and that's awesome.
I don't really treat you as just a client.
Okay.
Like a lot of the times trainers will come in and be like, this dog is just a dog. You're just a client. Like essentially what I'm doing is I'm selling me in the beginning.
Yep.
Like I have to sell myself.
100%.
So I make sure that we're all on the same page. We don't do anything that the owners aren't comfortable with. Safety is a number one priority for me always. But I like to have fun with the dog training. I'm not super serious when we do it. I'm not like, you have to do this, you have to do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like, I like to have fun. Like, the whole point of dog training is to have fun with your dog and build up that relationship. So, I guess that would be the kind of the biggest difference is just like, I like to have fun. Like, I joke around with my clients. I have fun with them. Like, we have a great time. The clients that like to kind of mess around and have fun with it are like my favorite ones. Just because it's a fun time and the hour goes by so quickly then. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's been an hour and a half. I kind of have to go now.
I know you're only about 6 months in officially. Is there anything you would have done differently so far?
Get insurance sooner. Had I known that how difficult it would have been.
Good thing for our listeners. So insurance early.
If you get a business insurance, that's the first thing you need. Because you can always change the date on when it starts too.
Yeah,
that's
of course.
the easy part. The thing I would change, I'm still figuring that out. I'm not sure.
And nothing is an answer too. I will say that's a legitimate answer when it comes to these kind of things. Because you think about like, yeah, that part might have sucked and I wish I hadn't have done that. But if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have learned the things that I know too. Like I kind of really like your mentality about like trying to like figure out the website and stuff. Like, yeah, great. Like now you know how, but like at the same time, like great. But I'm at a point now like, okay, I'll just have someone else help me. Like, but you know how to do it too though, which I think is huge because I think knowing your business from all perspectives is so important. It's so important. And it's really tough to like, I don't like asking people to do things when I don't understand it. Maybe like I technically, physically can't do something, but like not at least understanding the what or the why.
Right.
In that case, have you learned anything about yourself in the last 6 months? Not to get all deep on you.
I mean, I've learned a lot more patience. I'm not a very patient person in general. I think a lot of people can admit that. But yeah, having a lot of patience and just kind of letting things take its course. Because in the beginning, I mean, I was frantic. I'm like, oh my God, if this doesn't work, what am I going to do? I don't want to go to vet school. Like, I don't know anything else besides dogs and horses. Like, that's my entire personality, basically. So it was just kind of taking a step back and being like, okay, I'm going to try this, see how it goes, trial and error a bunch of the times. But other than that, still figuring that out as well.
Okay. I think patience, man, I think that's a good one. I think I have pretty good patience until I realize sometimes I don't.
That's the thing. It's that threshold is when it's reached, then you kind of know.
My wife will tell you like, well, like I'm like, you would think I'm the most patient person in the world until I'm not. And then it's like, but it's like a total 180. It's not like a gradual thing. It's just more like, and we're off a cliff and Eric's lost all patience and he's gone AWOL. Let's talk about business in general. When do you feel like the business is succeeding? Is it like is it an actual hard number? Is it more of a instinctual thing? Like when are you gonna feel like, yeah, like I'm 6 months in, or should be still doing this, or like, you know, oh, I've done this is awesome, I made the right move? Like kind of where is your head at, and where is there a point where you think you'll like there's that breaking point of like, I know I've made the right decision?
I think when the time comes where I'm getting a lot of inquiries and people are starting to know me a little bit better of my name and my business, and to the point where I'm like, oh my God, I'm all booked up.
Yeah.
Like I don't do this for the money. I mean, yeah, the money's nice. But
Yes, you do. We do work for the money. We got bills
yes,
to pay.
we do. I do. But it's not like the sole reason. I mean, people will say like, oh my gosh, you make so much money off of what you charge. But when you take into account, sometimes it's an hour worth of driving. Maybe
Wear
it's
and tear
2
on your
hours.
car,
Like
the knowledge you have.
there's a lot of things that go into it.
Yeah.
But for me, I love seeing the dog progress. And I love seeing the owner's reactions to their dog behaving, like, and kind of changing the mentality and the appreciation from it. But I would probably say once I start kind of getting a little too booked up is
That's a good problem. Yeah.
That's
When
I
you
like
start
to
worrying
keep
about
busy.
your calendar.
Yeah, like to keep busy. So that is my goal. I think that'll be my kind of stepping stone of like, okay, good, this is working out for me.
So all my listeners know they love me because I'm a devil's advocate, and I love asking devil's advocate question. So you made I'm going to connect 2 dots here. So you made a point to me before we started recording that we were talking about advertising, right?
Yes.
And like you don't want to be in the front of the camera, right?
Yeah.
But you just made the really big point that you are the business.
Yeah.
That you're the differentiator, right?
Yeah.
So you need to advertise you.
Yeah, I know. That's scary for me. I mean, I'm an introvert at heart. Like, stuff like that kind of scares me on the spotlight. I mean, I still get nervous going to people's houses because obviously I don't want to mess up. And 2, like...
You're going to a stranger's house.
Yeah,
like
it's...
Wait, like
that's
today, you're like, hey,
as
we're
it
strangers.
is,
Come into
right?
my house and let's
Yes.
record an episode.
But, yeah, I mean, selling myself it's gotten a lot easier, and like kind of being more outgoing has gotten a lot easier, but yeah, I still get nervous, like introvert at heart.
Oh, of course. And I think that's stuff too that you can still always be an introvert, and you kind of always will be, right? But I think the more you do it too, the more you get comfortable in it. You're just okay with it. Like it's maybe not, let's call it your personality, right?
Yeah.
But because for me, like I'm thinking about it, like if you were going to now come over to my house and help train my new puppy, like I want to know who you are.
Right.
Like, and I think there's a huge piece to that to I talk about this to a lot of companies that are in the services industry. Cause it's like most of the time in most services, it is you are the differentiator, right? Like if I think about cleaning the house or a mechanic, or it's like, great. Like there's only one way to fix my car, but I want to know the person who's fixing my car. Right. Like, and things like that. And it's like your skills and your talent are why I want this person working or training my dog or whatever it is. So get you out there.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, you're starting. We're on a podcast today. Okay. It's something. You got to do something, right? Yeah, don't get nervous about it. Get excited.
I know. It's exciting and nerve-wracking all at the same time.
What makes you nervous about it? Or nerve-wracking? I guess it's 2 different kind of things.
I guess messing up.
Some of the best content on there is just kind of like whatever, Don't overthink it.
True.
Don't overthink
it.
I overthink. So that's the other problem. Most entrepreneurs do overthink it, OCD, be very detailed, perfectionist, something in there, right? Of that realm. Like what my team would tell companies that hire us to come in and consult would be like, just get it out there. If anything, it doesn't even have to be the full story or the full thing. All it does is creates engagement. People ask questions. Like, it's like, if they engage you and start talking, guess what? Now you have a potential client, right? But then, you don't have to give them everything all the time.
Yeah.
And just be consistent and be out there. It's like, even when we talk about social media, like you don't always have to be some massive production, overthought, like incredible content, but you got to constantly be involved in it. Because it's like, I see you constantly talking about training. I might keep skipping over it until I'm ready to need training. But I now remember you always talking about different things about training or who you are, your background, whatever it is. And it's like, oh, okay, now I'm going to go back and okay, now I'm ready, right? But if you're never out there, I'm like, one, I just don't know you exist.
Right. You're right.
You know? But that's, again, see, I'm just going to take the train and just, we're just going to have all kinds of derailing today. How is your social media? Should we pull it up? Should we talk about it?
Sure, you can. I'm not as active as I want to be. I mean,
I
just posted a video of one of my puppy clients. He's really cute.
Oh my God, this puppy is ridiculous.
He's really cute.
What kind of dog is that?
He's an Australian Labradoodle.
That thing is, I'm a sucker for a puppy.
The breeder is amazing. I love her.
Yeah, you only have 10 posts on your Instagram. Those are rookie numbers. We need to put the numbers up.
I know.
But I like it. You got your website. You got what you do. Your logo. We're following you right now. There we go. And you have a new follower.
Thank you.
But yeah. So anyway, regroup and let's see. So we've talked about where you're at, what you're doing. Okay. Have you had someone you would chalk up as like, who's either given you just a solid piece of advice, and what was it? Or like someone who's just been like a great mentor so far that you would like totally want to just give them a nice little shout out right now? A thank you. Or they all suck and I'm doing this on my own and no one, F all of them.
Well, it's not even that. It's that I wanted to do this on my own, so I didn't reach out totally to the people that I probably could have.
Yeah.
But I mean,
you are stubborn.
Yeah. I guess my uncle, because he has really helped me through this. Every time I ask a question, he knows how to answer it. He's the one that gave me the insurance broker, like helped me out with everything. But he's always told me, he's like, don't be afraid to say no.
Yes.
Like,
that is such a great piece of advice.
I'm a people pleaser. Before this, I've always said, yes, you need this. Yes. You need that. Yes. I have learned that, yeah, you get taken advantage of, because if you start with saying yes, you have to end with saying yes, pretty much.
I mean, either that or you're burning whatever bridge or relationship or whatever it is. Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, there are clients that I have said, I'm not the right fit for you, or it does not seem like you're comfortable with this. So I don't take on every client because I'm not meant to be for everyone. I have a specific training style. The way I want to approach things may be different how the owners want to approach things. So if they're like, I don't know, I'll be like, listen, I'm just maybe not the right trainer for you. You don't seem comfortable with this, and that's okay. I don't have a problem with that at all. Maybe look around, see if you find another trainer. If not, you can contact me and we can figure something out.
I think that is one of the most mature things you could possibly do in a business. Not all business is good business.
Right.
And I think we've had quite a few people on this where you fortunately seem to have figured that out very early on, which is such a healthy thing, because new entrepreneurs are so scared to say no to business because they just like, I need to get money in the door. Right. I need to start growing. But you start taking certain types of clients or doing certain type of work, and you could either end up pigeonholing yourself into something you actually never really wanted to do. You have essentially what you would call a bad customer, bad business. Or, you just end up like, just not the right fit. And it's like you stay to your goals, your mission, your strategy. And if it doesn't fit within this, that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so healthy. I love hearing that. Good for you. And shout out to your uncle.
Thank you.
No is a business word that we do not know enough. Especially early business owners. If someone was going to start their own business in the pet space or not, what piece of advice would you give them?
Oh man. I guess do what you want instead of kind of listening to what other people are saying. I kind of started doing that a little bit. Everyone was just like, oh, do this, do that. And I'm like, I don't really want to though. Like, if you want to do it, just do it. If it doesn't work out, like, you can change it. Nothing is set in stone. But just, you will never know unless you do it. Because if you don't want to do it and it's your business and you do what other people want to do, you're going to regret it eventually.
And it's not their business.
Right.
All right. So definitely seems like there's a story there. Would you mind? Do you want to? Can you share it with us? Like, of maybe something they unless they might tune in. We don't want to hurt any feelings. I don't know.
No, it was more just like my logo and my name. Like some people liked it, some people didn't.
That's always going to be the case. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I had my family be like, "Oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to get this, you need to do that." I'm like, I don't want to do that though.
Yeah.
Like I don't, and I come from a family of business owners, so they're trying to like help me out the best they can. But I'm like, the animal industry is very different than most industries. Like you're dealing with an animal and a person instead of just people in most industries. So the animal industry, especially the dog and horse industry, very, very different. You have to approach it extremely different than most businesses. I mean, it's still business, but there's different ways of kind of figuring stuff out. So yeah, my family and friends told me, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I'm like, no.
And again, sometimes we as business owners like to learn things sometimes the hard way. So maybe 3 out of 4 of those, definitely a no, right? Never would be. But maybe it's like, all right, maybe that 4th one was like, all right, I learned the hard way and now I'm going to do it that way or try that, you know? And it happens.
It is all trial and error,
100%.
Essentially.
And then it depends on where you're at with your business too. You know, it's like maybe that's not for today, or I don't have the financial investment to do that.
Right.
You know, it's like, yeah, that sounds great, but are you going to give me the $10,000 to do it? You know, it's like, and I think that's a lot of people I see get hurt or get a lot of pushback on. It's like, you need this equipment, you need this vehicle, you need this. And it's like, great, are you going to buy it?
Right, yeah,
like,
right.
Like,
I'm like, oh, that's expensive. Like, I'm putting a lot of money into the business as it is.
Yeah, and so it's healthy too when either like somebody's in a bootstrap it versus, you know, it's like I was always big on never, like I didn't want outside investment. Like I wanted like, it's mine, like it's my baby. Yes. I don't want somebody who just has deep pockets to like, you know, as a, like I always think of that those old dolls with the strings. Like Mary, whatever. Everyone knows what I'm talking about, so whatever. But you know, so it's always like, yeah, I will get that when I can. Right. You know, I'll buy that, I'll invest in that, I'll spend that, whatever, you know, and I totally get you got to spend money to make money. 100% get it. But there's only so much money to go around.
I'm like, if someone wants to just give me $30,000 without any interest,
no
or
strings,
just as a gift, like I'll take it.
Yeah, right. I guess, like, okay, so now I'm kind of curious. Like, so other than like maybe buying a facility, is there something like, is there a certain type of like equipment, tools, like something you like wish or at some point you will own that would make your life easier?
I don't think. I mean, I already buy training equipment that I bring to clients' homes and then treat sometimes. So I kind of handle that just because a lot of the times people have no idea what they need. Right. So I'm like, okay, let's try this, try that, try this, figure it out. But other than that, I mean, facility would be one thing. But other than that, I don't think I would need anything else or want right now.
Do you offer to like new dog owners like a training kit, like they could buy, like it has all the stuff I would need?
No, because right now with the clients that I have right now, it's not really necessary. It's not going to be as popular as I would like it to be, essentially. It's not worth it. So it's not really worth it. I mean,
you should be doing it. Why aren't you offering that?
Right? But I mean, I'll bring in like leashes, different collars, long lines, stuff like that. And then offer treats because people are like, what treats should I get? And I'm like, oh, you could try this, this, and this, and we'll see if it works. But yeah, that's about it.
Do you have a preference on dog treats, like specifically for training? Like, is there because I see like big dog bone treats, and then obviously I see like
training
M&M
treats.
M&M
yeah,
size
so I mean like
treats.
Bill Jack, that's a good brand, but also anything freeze dried. Freeze-dried treats are great for dogs. You can break them up into tiny pieces. Dogs really like them. Easy to use. Don't make that big of a mess. Or string cheese. I love using string cheese for training, yes.
Really?
Because you can break it up super small and the dogs love it and go crazy for it. So it's kind of like a higher motivation incentive for them to start working a little bit more.
Man, I could be trained with string cheese. I love string cheese. Except unless you're one of those animals that like don't pull it apart. I've seen that they just eat.
Oh no!
Like, who are you?
No,
no. This is, you know, we kind of talked about maybe this question might not be relevant, but I'm always curious because I don't know your industry very well. Is there like, I always say like AI technology, is there anything like that that's within your industry that would either it's hindering your business or maybe helping your business?
I mean, regarding AI, not real. I mean, Google, like everyone Googles everything. I will have clients that call me and be like, "Oh, I Googled this and this is what Google said." I'm like, "Cool, did it work?" They're like, "No." I'm like, "Well, there's your answer." That's the problem.
That's so good. Oh, I totally clipped. That is going to be the highlight clip from this podcast, right? Did you Google it? Yeah. Did it work? No. Well, there you go. That's so true.
I mean, Google does like kind of hinder me a little bit because people listen to Google and then it either causes more of a problem. It didn't work. Sometimes it works, but it's like they're Googling the wrong things and Google doesn't know their dog. Google might tell them to do something and it completely ruins their dog. Like Google does not help. I would don't recommend Googling for dog training. It's
or
not,
anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
it doesn't. I mean, you can say you have a headache and you have cancer.
Oh,
like,
dude, I a hangnail, like cancer.
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
Everything says
like,
cancer. So I'm like, okay, if you don't want dog training, why are you calling me in the beginning too? I'm like, if Google has all the answers, go to Google.
God, Google. I would avoid Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons. What about like video? Like, I guess it goes back to how diligent the owners are. Like, I was always thinking like a friend of mine's in the personal fitness space and like online videos really like crushed her business. Like,
yeah.
I mean, again, like, that has to have impacted like from a hands-on perspective, like a YouTuber.
I mean,
or something,
yeah,
right?
people go to the internet for everything just because they don't want to either kind of put in the money for it or they don't want to ask for help. But yeah, I mean, the videos, they only go so far. You can see it, but if you're
your dog.
still doing it wrong, it's not going to do anything. It's like, okay, I saw a video of someone doing a backflip. Do I know how to do a backflip? No. Like, I just...
Oh, God, your one-liners are so good.
So it's like those kinds of things. Because, I mean, it's the same with, like, personal fitness. You can see someone do it. Your form can still suck.
100%.
Like, I need someone to correct me entirely so I actually know what I'm doing. But it's the same with dogs. You can see it. Does not mean you know what you're doing or you know how to do it.
Or I also think of it to me as like an accountability thing, right? Like I see the video, I know I'm supposed to do what's in the video, but like it's so easy to just not do it. But like if you're showing up to my house, we have this relationship and you're like, how did it go this week? And you're like, well, and then you're going to yell at me.
Right,
and it's like, well, shit. All right. I need to get to my act together. Right. So I think that's for me would be a huge benefit for me is like just the level of accountability of like keeping me in check of actually doing it.
Right.
And then to your other point we talked about earlier, it's like, well, that dog reacted that way for that thing. It's like, well, my dog ain't going to do that. It's not going to listen to me.
Right.
It's yeah, it's just interesting. It's just what I've seen there's a lot of good and bad out of technology, and we could talk about that all day. But let's see. I have so many questions about dogs. I just love dogs. Okay. I'm looking to get a dog for the family. Do you have a recommendation on a breed? I know you're very biased to Aussies, but that's a good family dog, very trainable.
I mean, are you active?
I'm going to say like middle ground, like
middle ground.
Like
I'm not backyard.
Yeah, I'm like, or I will go for walks. Like, I'm not like looking to hike like some mountain or something, or like I'm not riding an Ironman any time in my life. But
I mean, like Goldens are good family pets. Labs are good family pets. Corgis can be fun.
I had a Corgi growing up.
They're fun dogs. They're stubborn,
fast.
but they are. They're
so I was a track
fast.
runner, was a sprinter, and there was nobody else in the running group that could keep up to train me and like push me. My dog did. Yeah, it was incredible. And they were like that short little wiener dog. I'm like, yep.
Yeah, they're quick. They are quick.
But they're stubborn is an understatement. A complete understatement. Like
They crack me up. I love corgis.
I loved my corgi. Ellie, she was amazing. Triever, I mean, that's pretty. Labs. I feel like labs, though, need a lot, like, they're way more, like, need to be outside. You need to run them, you walk them a lot.
There's English lab and American lab. So you have two different types of labs. The American labs are used more for like the hunting. They're like the taller, more leaner dogs. Then you have the English labs. They're a little bit shorter, a little bit chunkier. I call them sausages. Lower demeanor, not as high energy. So it kind of just depends.
Yeah, I'm totally thinking the American ones are, they're the ones I was thinking.
They're a little bit more higher energy, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying this new thing where I'm like Googling things while on the podcast. It's like, I like seeing, I'm a visual person.
Right.
So despite I run a non-visual podcast, video's too hard. I didn't want to do video. I don't want to be on video.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a lot of editing. That's the hard part. Anyway, so what haven't we talked about your business? What do you want me to know?
I guess if you're like worried about getting dog training, try just one lesson. Like, even if you're like, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I need to get my dog trained, whether it be with me or anyone else, like, dog training is super, super important. I think every dog needs to be trained. Every
100%.
dog. Try it out. Try one lesson. See if it's worth your while. Just because if you keep pushing it off, the problem gets worse. You get frustrated or your dog gets frustrated. And then you're at the point where you're forced to get your dog trained. And there's so many more problems that could have been avoided had you just got your dog trained. Like I tell everyone, I'm like, you get a puppy, start training it right away.
Yeah.
Take it to classes, do privates, do it on your own. Make sure you know what you're doing. And also, everyone wants to get a dog that does not match their lifestyle. They think so.
Why that's such a vibe. You're so right.
Because they think, oh, it's a pretty dog. Oh, my friend had this dog. Oh, I like the way it looks. Like, you get in trouble with that. And I've helped a lot of people kind of pick out puppies from litters just because they're like, I don't know what to look for, because a lot of my friends.
Wait, you help puppy pick? That's the best part of your job right there.
Unfortunately, I can't always meet the dog. I'm just able to kind of see the videos and pictures or just help them find a breed or a breeder. Because I do know a lot of breeders as well. But a lot of people are like, oh, this one's big, I want it. Or, oh, this one's small, I want it. Oh, this one's quiet, when dog is not actually quiet. Or they pick a breed that just is not fit for their lifestyle, and they just didn't do enough research for it, unfortunately, and then they kind of have an issue later on, and then they call me.
Hey, but that's why you have a job. That is why your business exists, right?
Yes, it is.
Old dog, new tricks. Is that a fallacy? If I adopted an older dog,
you can absolutely teach that dog. I mean, a couple weeks ago, I had a client with a 11-year-old and a 10-year-old Australian Shepherd and German Shepherd, and we taught it a command, and it's still, from what I heard, it's doing great.
Awesome.
Like, you can still do older dogs. Obviously, it's a little bit harder if the dog if the dog is not moving as much and not as active, like, not really able to do much with it. But I mean, if your dog is still going, wants to learn, takes treats, wants to work, you can teach a dog anything. Like, my dog's 5. My Aussie is 5, and I still teach her new stuff all the time.
God, yeah, because it's so many people are, they're pushing the adoption thing, right? Because there's just so many
yes,
the COVID dogs. People went back to office, and then so a lot of those puppies now went 2-3 years old. Now they're 4 years old, and then they're getting dropped off at shelters and stuff. So I know a lot of people now that should be dog owners that now are adopting. Some older dogs that maybe either have little to no training. Right. Guy, you'd be a lifesaver to some of these dogs. Like, please get some help. They need to be trained. What about, what's your take on, the aggressive dogs? Like, the kind of stereotype, pit bulls and stuff like that? Like,
So, and I might get some backlash for this. It does have to do with the owner of the training.
Okay.
A lot of it does come for that. Any dog can be aggressive. Any dog. I mean, I have a lot of reactive and aggressive clients that I work with, variety of breeds. So yeah, training does come into play, but it's also genetics. It's the bad breeding, unfortunately, that happens that people don't realize. And unfortunately, with pit bulls, they're not as, I guess, knowledgeable of how to do good breeding. I mean, I've met great pit bull breeders. I've met some really nice ones, and I've met some backyard breeders that just don't care about their puppies and just breed whatever. And unfortunately, you mix parents that don't have the greatest genetics or temperaments, and you're going to get a reactive aggressive dog. But I mean, that happens with any dog. It can happen with any breed, any dog. People just unfortunately stereotype pit bulls just because there's more bad breeding in that industry than other breeds.
God, that's horrible. That's sad. Because I've met so many great pit bulls.
My dog has gotten attacked by pit bulls or by a pit bull before, and I'll still train a pit bull. I have no hate against them at all. They can be great dogs, but unfortunately, if you have a bad breeding system, you're not going to get a good dog with any breed.
Oh man, and there's just so many stereotypes around it, and I get there's a reason why. I mean, it's not totally, but they can all be loved. They're dogs. We love all dogs go to heaven. Most dogs go to all dogs go to heaven. Anyway, well, Karina, I appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun.
Did you?
I did.
I know you were nervous.
I know, but I actually had a lot of fun.
You good? Yeah.
This was fun.
So, all right. So, if somebody has a dog they want to get trained, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
They can either go to my website, all my contact information is on there, or they can give me a call or email. I'm pretty available. I mean, I answer pretty much right away. So,
cool.
Whenever someone calls, I'll answer.
Well, we'll plug all that info again. You guys, Wiggle and Woof. Why do I keep saying Woof? I don't know. Woof. Hey, Woof. Wiggle and Woof Dog Academy. So if you guys got a puppy, you need some help, you need some training, all your dogs should have some training. Karina has got you covered for a majority of our listeners. So definitely our Northern Illinois listeners for the most part. So appreciate you all. Karina, I appreciate you today.
Thank you.
And you guys, as always, shop small, shop local. And I'm your host, Eric Bohl. And until next time, goodbye for now. And that wraps up another episode of Small Business, Big Dreams. Thank you for joining us. Please support us and these incredible small businesses by sharing this podcast with friends, family, and on your social networks. Spreading the word not just helps us grow, but more importantly, supports the dreams of our local entrepreneurs. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. But if you have a small business we should hear about, reach out to us on social media or our website. We would love to hear from you. Until next week, I'm your host, Eric Bohl. Keep supporting small businesses, and goodbye for now.